Welcome to the December 10th OpenZFS production user call. We have Eva, Andrew, Jan, Dushan, and myself, Michael, so far, and I'm pleased to report that the day 2 videos are up for the OpenZFS User and Developer Summit. The rest should be up shortly. And it sounds like Dushan, who attended BeehiveCon and was at EuroBSDCon, has some questions about libzfs and zpool upgrades and more. Go ahead. What are you experiencing?
So libzfs was someone else's topic.
Oh, Jan, do we have you to thank? And I am pleased to report that there is a recording as of 2 a.m. Pacific on the discussion we had. So
So
that's available. Yes.
um, I got annoyed with writing stuff in shell, so I started writing it in C, and for that I had to use libzfs because what I was writing as a shell script was the code to provide kind of version dataset names for my jails. And yeah, um, I think it was uh, during the let me get that wrong. In the EuroBSDCon Dev Summit, it was proposed to just take the headers, which are missing from the kernel sources, and I looked it up. It's not a problem anymore for ports because they are made available by default on the Podia setup. So that's how we can build kernel modules from ports and so on. So basically, I would just make a port which requires the kernel sources to be available. And there is prior art how to do that in the port tree. So that such a command would require you to check out the FreeBSD sources to user source, and then you can build it. Yeah.
So Jan, this does not look like the report that you and I submitted. I see a few
No,
for
that's the older one.
PyLibZFS. As in, I swear we together wrote some text and I blasted out a report just a month or two before the release just to get it out there. And we had a discussion at EuroBSDCon at the Dev Summit up front there.
Yep.
So maybe it's closed. Let's see. Going to navigate Bugzilla on another tab. So uh, are you saying you found workarounds or you want to patiently wait for improvements on it?
I think I will just
What?
accept that it's annoying, but just like I can live with the instability of libzfs, I can live with having to check out the kernel sources. This is not a blocker to making something available as a port. That was just very old dated information stored in my head. It's no longer a problem to make the port available as a package. So it doesn't block building packages, so that's fine. Um, in the end, most people will consume it by installing it from a package, if there are ever other users.
Okay.
But yes, eventually would be nice to have a better library interface.
Okay, I found the report that I submitted that we submitted. I'll put that in the doc. Okay, well, check out that video for those who care about libzfs. We had a like 45-minute discussion on it. On review 1, review 2. So that said, uh, Dushan, what do you have in mind? And I do not do topics
Oh,
that way. I just have them listed and indented when appropriate.
yeah. So basically, the problem that I was trying to fix. I mean, I've submitted a fix there, which is probably in the domain of like not great, not terrible. I was hoping to at least spark a conversation or see how to basically how this should be addressed. So there used to be an analogous issue with user quotas as well. Like I think so back in the day when they came to be. So I think that's 2010-ish or so. I may be guessing here. So the thing is that basically when we open an object set, so basically what is happening is that when we try to upgrade from ZFS on Linux 0.7, like some older version which did not have project quotas, to something that does have it. So when we do a pool upgrade, the feature is enabled, but you cannot use project quotas on any file systems on that pool until you remount the file system or something similar. Basically, you need to reinitialize the whole object set in memory. So, and basically what is happening there, what I found to happen is that an object set instance in memory. So when it is opened, it has a reference to project used dnode, which should refer to the zap object that holds the the usage, project to usage mappings, and basically the presence of that reference is what indicates whether the feature is enabled. And so throughout the various file workflows, we have like these checks. If project quotas are enabled, then try to do an upgrade or something of sorts. I don't remember, right? And basically, that's not going to happen because this thing is never initialized. And so also like this command that you see, ZFS set version equals current. So apart from setting the version, like what it also does is that suspends the given file system and resumes it again, which amongst other things also reinitializes that object set in memory. So that kind of gets it working, or I mean, it used to get it working for user quotas back in the day, I guess so. But now we're having an analogous issue with project quotas, right? So basically,
could someone take notes for a few minutes? I must step away for just a sec. Continue.
Yeah. So basically, we need to kind of reinitialize this object for the feature activation to happen. And yeah, I mean, what I've done here is that basically whenever the feature is enabled on the pool, I just walk through the file systems on the pool and do a suspend and resume. But yeah, I mean that's why I'm saying like it's probably in the domain of like not great, not terrible. But so far I didn't get like neither good comments nor bad comments, and yeah, I'm not sure how the good fix should look like there.
So just so that I understand you correctly, you have an old pool from before project quotas were a thing. You
Yes.
upgrade the pool, and then the issue is that for the quotas to become usable on the existing file systems, you have to unmount and mount them again.
Yeah. So their object set has to be reinitialized.
Yeah, because if you unmount, you flush the cache, and when you mount, then a new object set is created in memory.
So basically this reference to I'm not sure if I can share my screen here and show the code.
You can.
You should be able to.
Mm-hmm. So just 1 second. Do you see what is happening?
Yes, we see your screen.
Yeah. So if we see, so there is this thing, right? So this is an in-memory object set, and then there's this dnode handle that points to project use dnode, and this is opened when we do. So here we just a second. Yeah. So there's a check here. If basically we have project quotas on that pool, then we initialize this reference, right? We do an open, and now how that is used is that there is this check called yeah, so this thing. So basically, it checks whether the feature is enabled on the pool, and whether this macro resolves to this reference, right? And whether that's not null. And because this is initialized only on open, we need to kind of call this open again. And so, like what I saw was happening with what I assume, I guess. I mean, I did not dig that deep, but I saw, for example, there's this command called ZFS set version equals current, right? So, I mean, it sets a version on the file system, but what it also does is, what was it? Set special, I think, prop set special, right? And there is, so when we set version, right, it obviously sets the version, but then apart from that, it does this user space upgrade and quota upgrade, which is, I think, grafted on later. And what that does is that it reinitializes this object set. Just a second. Yeah. So you see here, if it's not enabled, then it does suspend and it does resume here. And that's basically what fixes it. My patch does it on when you set the feature on the pool. But yeah, I mean, I was first trying to reinitialize just this field, but it turns out that in object set instance, that is so it relies on this OSFIS buff, which is immutable, right? And I cannot change that, so that's kind of a problem.
The two things I would worry about is locking and anyone holding a direct pointer to it.
Okay. Sorry. To what? To the object set or?
Yeah. If you're creating the object set, could anyone still have a pointer to the old one? And how does the locking work? Because I'm not deeply in that code. So if Rob shows up in half an hour or so, he may be able to give you better feedback.
So sorry, who?
If Rob Norris shows up in half an hour, he normally shows up later because he's in Australia. Time zones.
Yeah.
Stupid things.
So that's the gist of it, I guess. I mean, it's not that big of an issue, but it is an issue, and like the solution that was currently present there is not that great. Mine is analogous, but yeah, I was hoping that somebody more knowledgeable than me.
I think the obvious thing is your tool upgrades should be very infrequent. So when you do them, you reboot or you export the pool import, unmount all the file system once, and then you're through with the pain and suffering for until the next upgrade or whatever. But yeah, it is annoying. It's one of those things which shouldn't be necessary,
Yeah, I mean, like my understanding is that like you can enable a feature on a pool, and then if a file system begins using it, then it's sort of.
Yeah, it's dynamically enabled, and it becomes so it goes from enabled to used, or is it from supported to
Active, I
enabled?
think. There's a
Yeah,
ref.
active, enabled, and active. Which it depends on the feature if it's read only or must be supported. But those are the user-facing issues.
So yeah, that's kind of the gist of it.
So about the APFS feature Michael brought up.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
so cp-c on a Mac is just using clone file, so that you create a clone of the file, which on macOS is done through a special system call, which clones the whole file on FreeBSD's latest OpenZFS version, or 2.3 and newer. You do it a bit differently. You create a new file and then you clone the content, assuming your pool uses block cloning. You can then do a CP without any special flags, because FreeBSD CP will try to use clone file for the copy by default. Uh, and if the file system or the combination of source and destination does not support clone file, it will just transparently fall back to the traditional read plus write copy loop. Uh, so yeah, if clone file is possible, or the equivalent with copy file range, it's on by default in FreeBSD.
Can one offer a flag to not use copy file range, or it's
Uh,
either on or off?
Good question. Check the man page.
Okay. Just thinking out loud. And with the caveat that
I guess
your ZFS send will not probably behave the way you expect, and you won't get the benefits of it over a send.
yeah, it's really the annoying part of cloning.
Yeah. Okay. Any thoughts on truncate-s?
Not really, because
No worries. I'll do. I guess I have manual pages handy. Yeah. Hmm. Oh, hello. It's a big entry. Oh, goodness. Here comes the juice. Big juice.
that sounds like a bug report to me, because if a CP will just basically be a copy across file systems, unless it can do cloning, and you should be able to kill it.
So those right are the manual pages, the R flag, the S flag, and the C flag. So
Hmm?
Unless that's a capital S and I'm missing it. Maybe I'm missing
What?
it. Let's see. The flags they gave in the example. No, that says -S. Here we go. Here's the usage. Anyway, I came across that, thought someone out there cares. Anyhow,
Yeah, it sounds like some kind of hang in his storage. So it would be expected if his disks are terribly slow or kind of hung, like a interrupted iSCSI connection or something like that.
hmm. Oh,
Um,
moving on to this report.
by Filth.
Yes. So create mount point, move. Yeah, that sounds like, gee, the most basic problem. That's pretty low tech.
Yeah,
Okay.
you, I would have noticed already if this is a common bug in 15
Yeah, that's, well, one
because
hopes.
creating a new file system and copying on something to it is something I've done already. It worked for
more than
me.
once.
Yes, because I've been doing all my jail testing and so on.
Yeah, you do it a lot.
Yeah, so thousands of times on 15 already in a few days. So
Hmm.
uh, one of my two test systems, I think the jail counter is 2000 something. So yeah, every jail is a handful of new file systems, copy a few files, do something, destroy it again. And you
Okay.
can
Uh,
iterate.
I hope Rob will join us on the hour in about 20 minutes. He might have some thoughts on your review, Dushan. Um,
Yeah, thanks. I may have stolen your spotlight there, but I was sharing the
in what
screen, so
way?
now.
Oh, you did, but yeah, but his wisdom would
No,
be
that's what it's
invaluable.
No,
for.
no, no, for the screen sharing.
Is it? Oh, it's
Just
not
stop the
running?
screen share.
Oh, okay. Let me. Oh, allow multiples. No. Do you have something up? Oh, wait. They now tab it, which is stunningly unhelpful. Yeah, okay. There's the doc. Thank you. I'll just grab it if that's okay. That's the current share. Okay, in waiting for Rob.
Um, I
Uh,
have some other questions if
yes, please bring him on.
yeah, so I saw, I think, in some of the previous production user calls, so I think Rob was working on User-Space ZFS, or yeah, I was just wondering. So, like, there are a couple of projects online which try to bring ZFS to user space, but I mean, it feels like everyone is trying to do a thing of their own. So I was interested in the state of, well, ZFS in user space. I also saw, like, from like 2 production user calls ago or something. So Rob is trying it as well.
Okay,
Of
so
So
course.
this,
Rob is the only one who's actually trying to do it as part of OpenZFS and not fork the code and hack on it until it works for your project. So there have been stuff like C-store and
Yeah.
some Rust wrapper again. But the proper way to do it would be to have a new platform, basically POSIX as a platform, just like we have FreeBSD and Linux as a platform, and macOS in theory, and Windows as an experiment. Um, you would have a new POSIX platform so that you can run ZFS as a user space process. And kind of subset of that exists for stuff like ZDB, but it's not full featured. The obvious use case for this would be a Fuse server. so that you can mount ZFS without a kernel module. Because sometimes for the kernel you run, there is no kernel module, or you're not in a position that you can load it. In that case, having Fuse would be a better than nothing solution, which, yes, it would be slower, but it would be usable for a lot of things from a performance point of view, and would make ZFS a great option for external media, for example. Because, yeah, even if someone's Linux distro kernel doesn't have a ZFS kernel module, you can just tell them here, install the Fuse server, and you can mount it.
Okay.
Yeah, but
And
So I
the
cannot
other use
emphasize
case,
enough that there's a video as of 12 hours ago on the discussion from October at the summit on this. So not that we
yeah,
want to watch that here and now, but I've dropped it in the chat, and
but
that is
just to
a thing.
summarize it,
Yes, please.
the other big use case is to make ZFS available as a storage service, so that you, for example, don't have to trust the replication streams you're importing into a pool. You just create a big file, you create a pool on top of it, and then you can receive replication streams to it. That would be very useful if you want to offer ZFS replication target as a service, so that you don't need to use a hypervisor. Or the last option is the one which people have already done by effectively forking ZFS, and that is using it as your storage engine, for lack of a better word. And then you can directly write to the object level storage API. You can do something custom on top of it. Then anyone still cares about stuff like, I don't know, Hadoop or whatever.
Cool. Steve, welcome. Do you have any topics, questions, ideas? We're kind of meandering here, but going through a few things. And the call officially starts in about 15 minutes, but the time changes of various forms have sent people awry. You're muted, but no worries if you're not available to talk. Okay. Does that help, Dushan?
yeah, I mean, I was just wondering what's the state of it, because I've seen like all these, different projects. So and yeah,
Well,
I was wondering.
And Brian Bellendorf made a point of finding like this decade maybe older PR about let's do a user space OpenZFS. There's quite the history on it, but I know that Rob has it very front of mind and is working on things. Yes, Jan.
yes, he wants to work on it, but there is no business case directly for it. So his employer is not giving him paid time to do it.
Let's not speak for him or his employer, but do watch the video.
Yeah,
It's
okay,
literally
but
the most current
that's
place
what
to
he
start.
stated 2 or 3 weeks ago during the calls.
Yes, but it's true of all features.
Yeah, but
without
so
vocalizing them, they won't find supporters.
Yeah, it's just that it's totally legitimate use case. The businesses are interested in their business case, not in.
Fortunately, we had a room of like 20 people all wanting it, plus those on the stream.
Yeah.
So people have different definitions of it, but generally
The
some
other
want that
nice
I'm
thing
sure we'll
about
come
it
to an agreement on.
is that it would make it very much easier to test some features which don't live in the platform-specific code.
Oh, that's a good point.
So it would really help with the development workflow once it's sufficiently mature. So a lot of things in OpenZFS now require running the test suite in a hypervisor, and if you could just run it as an unprivileged process, that would be very helpful, and it would probably make running tests a lot faster.
Yeah, well, note Rob's
Easier to
quiz,
automate.
which was exactly that. And I think I started the discussion with, "Hey, Rob, what's quiz?" Meant
gave a
Note.
good presentation on it during last year's BSD camp.
Correct. In the video. So yes, it's a hot topic. You've come to the right place. Let's see if the person themselves jumps on in 10 minutes. Okay. Let me even ping him. Sure, let's do it. Are your ears burning? Steve, are you? Oh, Steve disappeared. Oh, bummer. Okay. Okay, so we'll give Rob a few minutes. That said, I wanted to take any lull to promote the videos that went up 12 hours ago. So let's see. The second day videos are up, starting with the first day. There's the welcome. There is Garrett's talk with, I don't know, a remarkable number of watches. Maybe he shared it at his little Boston-based university, but at 1,800 views, that's by the long shot the number one video since like the fifth. The Zelta one was a delight. Monitoring was, well, they're all a delight. Monitoring was great. Quality assurance is more about the review, etc., about how can we make be it the test suite and OpenZFS as good as they can be. We started the next day with the support roundtable, which was Alan Jude and Daniel Bell talking about like resources available to users who sit down and find decade-old blog posts, etc. Of course, the one User-Space OpenZFS. Rob will hop on shortly, he says. Continuous replication is a aspirational topic we've discussed for years where, people want, not snapshot send, receive, but they want something that magically does stuff full time. And Jan, you might have some thoughts on that, but we're almost done. Channel programs in libzfs, which came up earlier, and then the final frontier, object storage. What would a closer relationship with S3 type storage look like? So there's one very much what things would look like. Rob is grabbing a snack and will join us shortly. Okay. Yes, Jan, you were going to say?
What was really interesting about the continuous replication session that it meant a few different types of things to different people. Some people were looking into that effectively having an always on asynchronous best effort replication, and you just monitor so that it doesn't fall behind too much. And our people were trying to turn it into a single image cluster file system with distributed byte range locking and so on. So that while our third group kind of tried to conceptualize the file system more like a database where you have some kind of isolation guarantee so that it's not consistent, but you have like a conflict-free view at some part of the state. Yeah, those are three very different things. Yeah.
And I'm very glad the discussion's taking place. I'm happy to help facilitate that.
Unless one interpretation gets a bunch of manpower behind it.
That's without question, but the conversation needs to take place rather than... Yes, but what if the person power is available with a bad idea?
Which means different things to different people ahead. So what I saw is just this is a vast field. There are different interpretations that it can need, and right now not much is going to happen to any of them because it's still so open. There's nothing actionable here.
Right, but it's an ongoing discussion, and the opposite is not having a discussion. So,
oh, sure, there's interest.
There is very much interest. So, let's watch Rob, and What else? Yeah, actually, I'm curious. I'll do a quick search here. See if there's an obvious blog post or Lobsters or somebody with Garrett's talk. Let's see. Oh, this is really okay. Did he get slash dotted? Oh, that comes up nicely. No, it's all YouTube responses. That's interesting. Huh. Funny that. All right, Hacker News or Reddit or something,
Just a reference from some big channel, I don't know.
or somehow the Google juicified. Anyway, I've nudged him on social media. Maybe he'll, on the Fediverse, maybe he'll say, yeah, of course it went to the thing and the thing. Okay, I hope to have the other videos up within a week or so. I've learned a lot about color grading. Thank you very much. Anything else, Dushan?
Mm, That yeah, actually, I'd like to.
Please.
I think I asked you this like some time ago. I'm not sure if it is an appropriate question, but so we discussed. I think I made a remark, so something like, it would be cool to have a ZFS conference in Europe, similar to the one that where was it in Oregon?
Yeah, so yes.
Yeah, and so then you mentioned it's kind of like it's tricky because there's no foundation behind and so on, and so that made me wondering later. So how is the one in Portland backed? Like how who backs that?
I will I will gladly tell you that. And I'm not in any way against one. It's just the sheer complexity of like, well, it's all the things. So let me perhaps hijack a tab here. There we go. I'll save that for Rob. There we go. Perfect. So
The very first trick is that we managed to do it on the tiniest budget.
yes. So step one, to answer your question, there were sponsors, and we were very, very lucky to have Delphix Return, who pretty much organized the conference themselves, and they've left the line item in such that we had a budget for the current year and arguably a future year or a European one with that alone. AWS came to the table and was an impressive sponsor, and some other tier sponsors. So money is always important, but there is money within reach. Define Europe. There were, what, 27 EU members, now they're 26, is it? And if I were to run the zoo, I would say we find a venue in Amsterdam, not too far from the airport, and an airport hotel, because Schiphol is well directly accessible from both Portland, Oregon, and countless other places on Earth. So if, for those who are listening, if you have a venue for, say, 50, comfortably 50 to 200 people, hypothetically, ideally at your office, which is welcoming people using their space free of charge, that would be awesome. It needs to be a space with, say, some amount of just chairs and projectors, and the single track format has been just fine. I don't see any reason to change from that. Go ahead, Andrew.
Another thing that tends to meet that requirement is if you can get a university on board.
Yes, sir. Question. Universities, which has served Eurobase Econ very well, of having just returned from there, etc., near AMS Airport. Hello, Rob. He's probably adapting and adjusting and connecting. In Amsterdam. That would be the question. With a space for 50 to 200 people. Now, come day 2 of the event, someone came on strong about doing a Boston event in the spring, such that ping-ponging there would be good. Dushan, if you know people in Amsterdam, I suppose I know a few too, and they actually use OpenZFS. Let's ping them. But I'm glad you're prompting, and the timing is good because anytime in the last few weeks I would have said I don't want to hear a single thing because I'm a bit busy with the current one. I still need to get a few videos up. Welcome, Rob. Are you situated?
Yes.
Welcome.
Hello.
Good morning. How are you?
Not
Clouds.
bad.
Yeah, pretty
Sleepy.
close. Oh, I hear you.
Yes, it's a nice day out there.
It
Beautiful.
looks nice.
Brilliant.
Unlike here.
What's that, Andrew? I spoke
Unlike
over you.
here.
Unlike here. Yeah, it's been raining like mad here. Rob, there's one thing we would very, very, very much love to run by you if you want to put on your developer hat, which is your default hat, I believe, but I could be wrong.
It's just my regular hat, just my
Regular hat.
cool hair.
Awesome. Oh,
Go on.
well, fantastic. So Dushan, who's on and was at EuroBSDCon and BeehiveCon, did his best on creating a PR about the project quota feature flag. And we've got it summarized here in the doc as best we could. It's on the recording, not that that's helpful while on the same call. But Dushan, what was the crux of it? That you had to unmount and remount the file system, or was there more to it?
Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of an issue. So yeah, I mean, basically, I'm looking for some comments in the way that this can be solved nicely. So basically, what is happening is that when you upgrade a pool from a version that did not have project quotas to the one that does, you cannot use project quotas until you remount the file system. Or actually reinitialize the object set, because they have like when an object set is opened, so the in-memory instance, it refers to the D node that represents the project used table. And so if that's not present, and it's initialized and open, you basically won't be able to perform an upgrade in any workflow, and you won't be able to use project quotas until you do this reinitialization workflow again. I've been trying to work around it, but basically there are some things that are considered immutable and cannot be just simply swapped without some sort of locking or so. I believe the similar thing was happening when user quotas were introduced back in the day, but I was a kid back then, so I maybe just guessing stuff, looking at PRs. So actually, there's nothing in Git history. So the doing a blame on that line goes back to stuff being taken from Open Solaris or Illumos, or I don't know what it was, right? But basically, so there's this weird comment.
Yeah, user quotas have been in there since way back in the Open Indiana days. It's been in, as far as I know, from the beginning. We're close.
Yeah, but so like there's this command called ZFS set version, right, which sets a version on the file system, obviously, but it also has a secret feature that it, if user quotas are not enabled, it does the same kind of a thing, that it, suspends a file system and resume, which also reinitializes the underlying object set, among other things. So I've done sort of an analogous fix, quote unquote. Again, I think it's in the domain of not great, not terrible. So any feedback is appreciated. Which basically, when a pool is upgraded and project quotas are enabled, it just walks the data sets, and on the file systems, it just does this suspend and resume kind of a thing.
So one question I have is, if you create a file system and don't enable project quotas yet on it, none configured, there has to be an in-memory representation of this file system is on a pool with project quota support, but none are configured. Could we just always treat basically use this in-memory representation of the file system and the object set and just refuse to allow you to configure any project rotor on that file system so that you don't have to convert it from one representation into another? You always treat it as if this feature exists. It's just you can't configure anything on it. That way you don't have to stop a bunch of stuff, convert the object set from one data structure format to another, and then resume. So instead of converting from how the in main memory representation looked before to after with it configured, just always use the after but unconfigured one, even for it's disabled on disk.
So I'm not sure I followed you through there. So basically,
so if I understood what you're proposing is, we have the old representation where some of the pointers are null or have that, and the problem is, okay, now you have to allocate it, and some of it is immutable. But apparently, it already works to configure the first rotor on a file system without remounting, right? If I have a pool with this feature enabled, I import the pool and then configure my first project rotor. That works without remounting the file system.
Yeah.
So there is a representation in memory which has no rotor, works, and can be converted to, hey, now I have a configured rotor. And could we just always use that way of representing the on-disk data in main memory, even for a pool where this feature is not enabled, not even to talk about active? You have your old pool, pre-upgrade, and you still use that representation in main memory. Because the code supports this feature, it's just not enabled. Why not use the data structure which can handle the feature to be enabled, even in the case if it's not enabled, and just prevent you from configuring any quotas? Maybe the cleaner way.
Dushan, I don't know the feature well, but I've got a couple of questions based on your description. I'm hustling home right now so I can pull the code up.
Oh, sure.
It can wait if needed. We're not here to like change your schedule, but yeah.
No, not really. That's just when I walk. But no, it's all right. But it sounds like suspending and resuming the file system is doing what you want. Yeah.
Yeah, and it used to do the job for user quotas, but it acts on a file system level with a weird command.
Yeah, but my point is more, so we have the tools internally to do the right job, yeah, and your PR hooks it up in a different way by doing a dataset scan and reopening what needs to, yeah? Am I understanding this correctly? Great.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds like you've done like 95% of the work. So I guess the question is, how would you like it to work? It just happens. It gets suspend resume under the hood when you do the upgrade?
So I mean, initially, while I was exploring the code base, again, I don't have years of experience working on ZFS. So like initially, I was just trying to reinitialize this denote handle. So basically, throughout the workflows, file system workflows, there are checks like if project quota is enabled, then try to do an upgrade, right? And somewhere in these workflows, I was trying to reinitialize this, but basically I would have to change something that is considered immutable on the object set. So that would require some careful locking and probably for me to turn around the whole code base. So that sort of stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
Sorry, what's the? I see just an A here. Hettinger.
Yes,
Andrew?
sir.
Yeah. So if you can maybe just message me your proposal on Discord or somewhere, because from what you were proposing, I think that I would need to consider it with a pen and paper. I did not get you.
Can you remind what that was, Andrew?
Yeah, I don't think I proposed anything. I think
Oh.
you must be confusing me with someone else.
Oh,
Who is
no,
this?
sorry.
Rob?
Oh,
So
Rob. So Rob's a developer within Reach and knows the code very, very well,
no,
and is
maybe it
overall
was
wonderful person.
maybe it was Jan.
Jan?
So
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Jan was describing a few things.
I was just describing an idea I had how to avoid having to convert the in-memory representation between two things at all, but in a level which is just too abstract to put into code directly and possibly make a lot more work to implement it, but hopefully in a way which would be structurally clean. But if there's a
Yeah.
command sequence you can do which does what you need from user space, which works already by just doing resume and pause and resume, suspend and resume.
Yeah.
Uh, that does it. I guess you could just create an IOCTA to do that so that you never get stuck in the state where, sorry, that page with the next bit of code is paged out and your user space process will never ask for the resume because it's now
Yeah.
deadlocked. So you just make that kind of calling sequence into a new IOCTL that should be the least amount of work to get that feature.
I don't even know I'd go that far. Like if like suspend file system suspend and resume is as an internal thing is as you may have seen is pretty well like we use that in a bunch of places. Like we use that when we take a snapshot. And all it does is stops new callers briefly, just holds them for a moment. So we can make sure there's no one in the file system while we do the work. So if that's already working, then I'd probably look at like a command is the short sort of the easy version, and if you've got something already, like that's cool. But what might be good as a larger infrastructure thing would be to make it so that, well, effectively to move it inside, make it so that when we do an upgrade, like particular features have, different features have like a list of flags that describe the feature sort of internally about extra stuff that can need to be done. So I'd add some sort of flag that says, after upgrading, all data sets need to be just touched, and then that would just go on a background queue and it would just through them, or maybe it would do them in line or whatever. That's the sort of thing as a structure we do all the time. So I'd be looking at something like that.
So that's put in a task queue or something. Who picks that up?
Yeah, there'd either be a probably a task queue. It'd probably be you probably do it as an async. Well, you could do it in line. You could do it as a there's what are they, spar async tasks which run at the end of the transaction group. Depending on how many there are, if there's like thousands of them, it might need to be a batched thing. It really depends on how far you want to go. Because I think you could, given it's a once-off, like that's kind of the magical way. You do the pull upgrade and everything just happens. But it would be just as acceptable, I think. Like I think you could argue it, which is most of what acceptable is, as just something like yours, which is a like a ZF. Well, there is a ZFS upgrade, but like a ZFS upgrade like command, and we just say after you have added this feature, you need to this feature won't fully take effect until you know, export import the pool or remount all your file systems or run ZFS upgrade dash dash latest features or whatever. I'm making stuff up.
Yeah.
Like because it's a one-off administrative task, like that's pretty defensible. You tend to not want to have to complicate, like building a whole background infrastructure
Yeah.
for one thing that most people won't need.
But it sounds like we
maybe
have
too
that
much.
workaround, the mount, unmount, right?
Yes,
yes.
but unmounting means that all your processes using the file system have to go away
Bingo,
while
yes,
you do
disruptive.
the remount.
It's very
Whereas
different, yes.
whereas internally doing a suspend resume, we pause internally. The kernel's VFS doesn't stop anything happening. We just block when it comes asking while we do our stuff, and then we unblock. So this happens every time you do a suspend. So, every time you take a snapshot. If we didn't do that, you would have to you'd have to unmount before you could take a snapshot. It's exactly
here you go.
the
Good
same as that. And the inconvenience is exactly the same as that as well. So yeah, but yeah, I think it's an interesting project. It depends how much you care. Like, are you like, oh, I'd love to learn how to do a deep ZFS thing? It's gonna be kind of fun. If you're like, no, I really just need to solve the goddamn problem, then I can go and put some comments on your PR and see how we go.
Thanks. So I mean, I was mainly just looking for feedback. It does solve stuff for me. So yeah, I was also like wondering what's the right way. But yeah, you sort of answered.
Yeah,
Thanks.
great. I'll have a look at the PR sometime today. I'll get up on my screen as soon as my screen works. Yeah, I know there's no hurry, but no, it's a good one. I'm glad you brought it up. Thank you. I haven't played much in that space, so it's also a good opportunity for me to learn a little bit. I like it. It's good stuff.
Yeah, even from my perspective, who has pools that have been around since Open Indiana and have done multiple zpool upgrades on them, it's not common enough of an operation to seriously worry about designing.
Time.
Yeah, what's being proposed for the kind of more quick and dirty way is acceptable.
Absolutely.
But don't get me wrong, just the upgrade command should do the right thing, and maybe this was an oversight that a little housekeeping wasn't done on this new feature. So
yeah,
I
mean, it could be
you two will come up with something.
Yeah, it could even be that this. I haven't looked at PR yet. You may have already done it this way, but the command.
Put it back in the chat.
Yeah, I saw it. I just haven't looked up yet. But
No
but the command. It could be that the command that sweeps the data sets and does the thing is part of zpool upgrade. It's like, cool. Now I've done the pool upgrade. Oh, and now I'm going to do some post upgrade work as well.
Yeah, okay, but for we have this example where that would come in handy. Do you think there would be more? Something more that justifies having such a command.
I would have to look through the feature list, but I don't know off the top of my head. Probably not, because I haven't heard the ask before, and usually but it's one of those things like I don't think it's a crazy thing to want. And maybe it's like maybe we did something different in other places because there wasn't a convenient thing for this. I'm not sure. I will have a read through the code and see what we do, because I know we do have some post-upgrade things internally, but they're very small, like flag bits and stuff. So,
well, thanks for taking a look at that.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you. This is cool.
So also the question of user space ZFS came up, and I couldn't help but notice that a video about the discussion went up 12 hours ago. But is there any news on that for what it's worth? And here we are. Jan summarized the 3 possible ways it could look, be it a POSIX platform, be it a safer replication recipient, or a storage engine. That's me quoting what you said as best I documented.
Kind of 4 options are the different use cases for it. So
Yes.
it would always look like a new platform, which is probably going to be called POSIX.
Okay.
The use cases for it are the most obvious one is a view server. The next is using it for receiving untrusted replication streams to offer backup service,
Yep.
like async.net or whatever,
Yep.
without a hypervisor. The other one is to make it usable as a storage engine for some kind of database, user space object storage server, whatever. Some kind of storage engine for a hyper-converged hypervisor, whatever
Okay.
you
Yep.
need.
Whatever you want. Yep.
And the fourth, which I initially overlooked, is simplifying development.
So if you give me 1 sec, I am looking for an email I wrote. Oh, I know where it is. I can't say anything yet, but I'm currently talking to someone about getting some sponsorship for this, for working on User-Space. And I'm looking for my email of what I would like to do. Here we go. Which I will drop in the document. I'm talking slowly because I'm trying to figure out where all my stuff is. I've only just walked in the door. Production user call. All right.
Here's a landing zone for you.
Yes, I'm about to
I'll
just
format it
paste.
happily, just blast it in. Bang.
Oh, hang on. Have I come to the wrong spot? No, I'm at some
I've
sort of.
dropped in the chat just in case.
Oh, great. Thank you.
And welcome, Daniel, while we're futzing with documents.
All right. Where's. Oh, 112 pages. Okay.
Oh,
So
yeah.
wait. You do a lot of these, huh?
Once or twice, and I do archive them quarterly occasionally. The secret is to search for actually, in this case, the next date and scroll up slightly. So if you search for 12/25, 12/17, it'll bring you just below it.
I'll do it, Sid. 12, was it 25?
2025-12-17.
2025, 12, 17.
Or
I'm using
Heya. Heya is also
Right.
a lovely place to search for.
Okay. So, and now I go back up on my goddamn email. Look at this. The technology professional hard at work. Go away. It's got a notification that my microphone volume is changing a lot. That is the list saying if you gave me a if money and time were no object, this is the order that I would approach User-Space ZFS. And the reason for doing it that way is something. What did I say? You can paraphrase this. If you like. My goals for User-Space is not Fuse specifically, but rather I want a high quality library and daemon so anyone could take it and embed it as a storage engine, think SQLite, or run it as a standalone storage server of some type. That could be Fuse, it could be an NFS or SMB server, it could be an S3 like Object Store, it could be a web server, or it could be a backup manager, send your stream straight into it. So all things we've talked about, right? The other thing I want is for it to be an easier target to build and test OpenZFS because the kernel sucks for these things. The dev tools are anemic, single mistake crash the system. I said, I feel like we have a better chance of getting people interested in hacking on ZFS if they didn't have to commit to the destruction of a whole computer to do it. But what
I should quote you on that. Yes.
But I've said what I don't want is just another fork that does stuff in User-Space, but it's maintained separately and it never makes it back. We have the old ZFS Fuse for that. There's been a couple of User-Space variants presented at the summit in the last couple of years, where people have done good work in User-Space, but it hasn't made it back, so it's bit rotted, and it's like I don't want that. And I was writing that as a hedge. I was saying, I know you want this feature, but I don't want to do that because I don't want to do it another way. I want to do the groundwork first, because it doesn't just mean building
Right.
the actual thing. It means rebuilding the layers to make sure it's like nicely modular. It fits in with the rest of OpenZFS, and it needs to work the way a user space application should work. It should have, init system or supervisor integration. It should support containers well. It should have good logging. It should have config file. It should have support libraries, especially for algorithm support. You should be able to use OpenSSL instead. You should be able to go out to hardware acceleration for things. Like I want all of these things, not to say I have to write them all, but I want them to be possible, which means making some of the interfaces a bit better defined and a bit more modular. And that's where that list came out of. I basically said, I intend to do this. If it takes me 5 years of evenings, fine. Give me money and we can do it quicker. And they went, huh. So we are having conversations now.
And I'm hearing a lot of do
So-
not repeat the sins of your ancestors.
Yeah, we've done this before. This is not
Yeah, exactly.
This isn't new tech. This is just let's make it maintainable and then we can tell a story about it and get it out there for other people to use. I'd like to see other people using it. I'd like more developers around. It's lonely down here.
So this is an interesting thing to have a base daemon. So it would basically be a daemon to answer file system operations.
If you use it in a file system image, yes.
Aha, okay, yeah, sure.
To be very clear, this is not, I have no intention of removing the kernel support. I more just see it as in the same way a kernel is the Linux kernel is the runtime for ZFS plus the Linux adapter. The FreeBSD kernel is a runtime for ZFS and the FreeBSD adapter. This daemon we will have to ship our own runtime for this. So it will be the runtime for ZFS plus the runtime adapter, if you like. That's kind of my layer model.
Makes sense.
Anyway,
speed.
But like I said, that's my conception of it and what I'm thinking. It's based on every conversation we've had and that sort of thing. So I'm happy with the feedback, but at the moment it's just spitballing. Once it really gets rolling, even on my own time, I may find that after a year of couches, this is all totally wrong, but whatever. I do have at least a partial prototype of pretty much everything on this list though. So it's all surmountable.
Jan, you have opinions. Do you see any concerns here? Or Rod speed, young man?
No.
Jan, I love you. And that might be the first time that you've just gone, yeah, that was cool. and I am genuinely heartened by that.
You've won the seal of approval.
There's nothing wrong with what you're waiting for. It's the correct way to go about it, I think, if you get funding for it. And someone willing to fund the actual right way to do it, so that we have something maintainable to look forward to, and not, hey, we have a MVP tech demo out of
which has been done repeatedly, eh?
Yeah.
So great. Should we quit while we're ahead? Daniel, what you got? Any news? Any Zelta news? You've just joined.
Nothing too exciting.
Mentioned a refactor and all the things.
Yeah, just trying to make it more than a philosophy come to life in the FreeBSD ports collection. So, it's coming along. I've got the dev that works for me is, explaining things that I probably should have learned in college, but I'm a sysadmin, so I never had to learn about important development concepts.
We touched on this earlier. They do not touch on the important stuff in college and such. So that's such a profound challenge.
Yeah. Well, making all of it everything that I can make data driven is great because there's so many variations of ZFSs that I encountered through history.
And there'll be another one.
It really helps to what?
And there'll
yeah,
be another one that we just discussed.
there will be another one frequently. So anyway, it's really exhausting and it's also really fun.
Okay, I'll be right back. Hold that thought. I'll be back.
Cool.
Go ahead.
Well, I've got you there, Daniel. I was just gonna say I just started using Zelta this week, and it's great.
Did you?
Yeah. I mean, it's not a big job. It's pushing my laptop out to my NAS as a backup, but I was doing it before with a different thing, and it was at the very least invisible, but it was kind of weird to me. So it's good. So yes, good work. I was drawn back in by it will just do the right thing and won't screw it up. And I appreciate the not screwing it up. But I found myself getting stuck in a couple of ways. It's really just kind of feature request territory. Are you taking, like, can I put things on the issue tracker? I'm not asking you to commit to it, but like, is that the best way to talk to you, or should I really have a go at patching it myself? I don't want to.
No, please do. I do have I have a small team. I have a developer and I have a QA person that's
Okay.
working on it pretty frequently. I kind of want to, I just really like it. I went to the OpenZFS summit because I really like doing this work. So I kind of want to get it out there, and it does need to be more professional. So I've fixed, I think, every single bug that's on the tracker right now. So in dev, a lot of that stuff works, but it's still in QA. So I don't know if I would necessarily pop it on my systems right now. But I'm using it in production for some hundreds of thousands of snapshots already. So
yeah, I know. That's what's sort of drawn me to it. I'm like, oh, we've talked enough times. So I'm like, yeah, okay, this matches the way I like to think about things. So it's good in that. Next question then. Because you have to have it installed on both ends, which
no,
ends?
not anymore. That's done.
Oh, not anymore.
That's
It actually
over.
hands itself over. Oh, okay.
So by default, it does a pull back up, and it only needs SSH on both sides and
Oh, great.
ZFS. So I actually run it some of my tests, I run it from an OpenBSD box, which of course has no ZFS at all. And then that securely orchestrates the other boxes. So I'm going to move all of my policy management to one location.
Oh,
So
neat.
yeah,
Okay. I wonder what I screwed up then.
No. I mean the version in main does not do that.
Okay.
There's an initiator. Yeah, there's an initiator function that does that. That's now transparent, and it just assumes that you want to do a pull replication if you don't say otherwise.
Right. Oh, yeah, I'm definitely not on the latest one. Right. That confused me. Okay, that's good. I'm just going to grab the latest one then.
Well, be careful.
Well,
it is hot.
Yeah, no, I get that. And no, in getting this working, I have other backups, but I have blown away the main backup set a number of times just to make sure I have a good feel for it. Like I say, it's my personal laptop, not a big fleet of stuff. I'm not saying it's not important.
You can't.
But I have other backups.
You can't accidentally delete anything with it. So that's the good news.
Yeah, I'd rather stare blankly at it than it go, hey, I'm just going to start again.
Well, feel free to throw some issues at me, because once I do this refactor, it's going to be really easy to add, bells and whistles. So, yeah, I should get that. I should get let's call it 1.1 into main, and by Christmas for sure.
Ah, brilliant. All right, you're a legend. Thank you. I will think about what I want to ask for, what treats I want.
All right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll get you something for Christmas.
Ooh. You didn't say which Christmas, but
a classic. Okay, gang.
Play it again.
That was great, and I say we quit while we're ahead. Unless you've got some other last thought, I will try to have videos all up maybe by Friday or by Christmas, but no, I won't have that machine with me. But I did get up 5 more from the second day up 12 hours ago.
Yeah, you're doing a great job there.
Thank you.
They're really good.
Congratulations, Garrett, on a mere 1,800 plus views of his video, like off the charts. That maybe he shared it at MIT or something, but that's impressive. But that's a bit like the release engineering talk last year, because that was hugely popular. So anyhow, enjoy those. Again, the others should be up soon. I learned a few things in the process. Anyway, Daniel, would you like the honors? I trust you know what I'm referring to.
Like and subscribe.
Thank you, Daniel. Take care, everyone. Thanks, Rob, for dropping in. Cheers.
Thanks all.
Thanks everyone.
Bye.
Bye.